Oh, all right. Welcome,
Right.
listener/viewer, to the second episode, would you believe it, of What the Fridge podcast. Yes, we are in fact carrying on with this. So, today, we are joined once again by Caleb and Reuben, as you know from last episode. Hello.
Hello.
And new guest today, we have Toby. How are you, Toby?
I'm alright, thank you, mate. I've been a bit sick, but it is what it
Oh,
is.
that's pretty sick. Uh,
Oh,
and
God.
That was terrible.
yes, it was. And we're also joined by Vian. What is poppin', Vian?
Nothing much. Doing good.
Awesome. Alright, so, I'll start us off with my topic, unless anyone else wants to start us off.
Oh, feel free to go first.
Alright, guess I'll start then. So I'm going to talk about, what society, am I right? What society has come to, know as what we call credentialism, which is
Oh,
basically
yes.
people, specifically employers, tend to prefer candidates with degrees, regardless
Right.
of what those degrees are actually in, than people without a degree, regardless of work experience or what they've actually done. So, one question I'd like to ask, just to boot this topic off, is, do you believe that if anyone has a doctorate, no matter what the doctorate is in, should you address them as doctor? I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I believe they deserve the title.
I don't think
I don't know because
I don't think you'd like walk up to someone in public and go, "Hello, doctor," or whatever. It's more in like a professional standpoint that actually comes into play. I think.
Yes, but you've got. I've met people who have doctorates. I don't know what they were in. I'm pretty sure they weren't like medical doctors, but I'd address them and you go, "Hi, Mister," and they'd be like, "No, it's actually Doctor," and I'd be like, "Okay,
Yeah.
can you save me if I have a heart attack?" Like,
Yeah.
like that's where I draw the line.
think-
If you cannot save me from if I have a heart attack right in front of you, I'm not going to call you doctor.
Like, I suppose if...
But then
'cause-
there's also dentists who are like, really?
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
call those doctors?
Yes, I would probably.
I would say anybody in probably healthcare, or probably only just healthcare, I would call them doctor, because I feel like most people with doctorates, when you meet them, they're like you said, it's like, "Oh, hello, Mr. So and so." They're like, "No, actually, it's doctor," and then they brag about it, and it's kind of annoying, you know. So
Yes.
yeah,
just-
I kind of agree with you because like maybe like when someone who isn't in medical, right, calls himself a doctor, maybe it's to make them feel better, like maybe, or to show people that, hey, I have a really high degree,
Yeah.
and like I want some respect for that or something.
It's a coping
But
Yes, the
mechanism.
people who are doctorates.
I am
Yeah,
a doctor.
precisely.
I'm a doctor of arts.
Yes. It's like, it reminds me of that old Astiff movie sketch. It's like, don't worry, I'm a doctor of psychology. It's like, but like, it's true though. People say, it's like, oh, I'm a doctor of music theory.
Yes,
like,
it's so
Okay,
true.
can you
How do
save
you-
me if can you help me if I get a hernia?
I feel like the name doctor has changed from having a doctorate to being in medical. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of changed meaning in the English language.
Yeah, because doctor is now a broad term for anyone who has a doctorate. But doctor is also like a name for medical personnel. It's like it's a double meaning thing. Which, like, honestly, if you
Sort
get
of
a
on-
yeah.
sort of on the topic of like doctor, I kind of find it weird how they call like kids like master or something, you know, because I've heard something like that.
Well, master
Like
is. Oh yeah.
like when you get like medicine described to you, it'll say master, like your name if you're like a kid.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I always found that weird.
Well, the thing is, master. So you say
Kids
miss.
rule the world.
Yeah, miss is like. So you have miss and misses. So you're miss if you're unmarried, and misses if you are married. Master is just if you're not married, and mister if you are
If you are a
married.
child, essentially.
Although we
Well,
don't
yeah.
tend to use master. We just tend to call males.
Yeah,
just-
for males, you don't often say like. I mean, yeah, officially you're meant to use master. Like whenever I get like pills, it says Master Samuel Graham.
And why are you getting pills?
I'm just saying when I do, I don't have pills right now. I'm not. Don't worry, I'm completely fine. I'm not on a prescription or anything.
Not a drug addict.
No. no. But master is just a way of saying it's like Mister, but you're unmarried. It's like Miss.
I think
Mr. Mrs.
I think to wrap up that first question, we just basically say people who are doctors who wouldn't be like called a doctor in a professional medical standard are kind of just show offs.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna be like go out of my way to like if you've got any doctorate in any subject, you've worked well for that. Like that's great, but it's also a doctorate in
Also, don't care.
like flippin' yeah. I also like kind of didn't ask. No, I'm
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I didn't, but like I mean even like a doctorate in like I respect like people who have doctorates in like hard stuff like theoretical physics, like astrophysics or anything like that. But I'm still not going to call you doctor because if I like pass out in front of you, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Explain quantum physics to me, please.
Yes. Explain the energy transfer as I fall flat on my face.
That's what every physics student.
Yeah,
has
that'll
to do
say
Yeah,
it.
there,
the average physics student.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I feel like anybody in the medical field, whether it be psychology to a general practitioner, does deserve the title doctor. But if you have the title doctor as something like an astronomer, I would say not as much, if you know what I mean.
But that's the thing. It's never people with actually meaningful degrees that insist you call them doctor. It's always the people who have like a doctorate in like I don't know,
Engineering or something.
like Latin or something. You know.
Agreed.
Yes, like if you have a doctorate in Latin, you worked hard for that. That's great. It's also a doctorate in Latin, which is a dead language.
Yeah.
Like, who uses that anymore?
No one. Well, I don't
Unless
know.
you're
Some
a Harry
people
Potter
probably
nerd, no one.
Just to clear
yeah.
up, we're not like being mean to people with doctorates. We're just being mean to people who insist on being called doctor for like a doctorate in some
Yes.
obscure
We're
subject.
picking fun
But
at
if you do-
people who use the doctorate as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
So if you're doing that, then we suggest you change. But like,
Yeah, facts.
not.
They've probably been through so much pain just to get that doctorate title that they just want to, how do I say it, own it, should I say?
Yes.
In Latin.
In other news, going on the title on the sorry, not the title, on the topic of university degrees.
Mhm.
I think it was Friday last week.
Yeah.
We were just talking about bachelors of arts and how
yes.
the fact that everyone takes a bachelors of art if they don't know what to do.
Yes.
And our drama teacher just comes by and is like, "I will keep in mind what you're saying for when I mark you next Wednesday." I'm like,
Yes.
"Oh, that's."
I
fun."
couldn't tell if he was serious or not. Like, he sounded
I
like
couldn't
serious,
either.
but I'm pretty sure it was just a joke. But I was like, okay. Yeah, that was like we didn't say like doing a bachelor of art is bad. We just said it's what
I
people
just said
tend to
that
do.
a lot of people do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's what people tend to do when they're not sure what to do, but they feel like they have to go into university. That's just my opinion. I don't have an art degree, and I don't intend on getting one, so I don't know. Well, I mean, technically I am. I'm going to get a law degree, which is technically classed as an art degree.
Why is that an
But
art
it's-
degree?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Law should be its own subsec, shouldn't
Well,
it?
it's like a subsection of like a language major, like an English major. But it's
That's just weird.
well, I kind of get that, but like it's not like a I don't get it. But technically, in most sometimes universities like class law as like its own sort of subsection, but most universities they're just classified as an art degree for some
That's
reason.
just weird.
That's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose, like, a lot of people will it's just basically as you said, it's kind of like a stat dump. It's kind of like I'm going to use D&D as an example here.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
I had a
It's
feeling
like-
this was going to happen, but yes, continue.
It's like when you get a bad roll, or you have a stat that you don't use, it's called a dump stat. Like intelligence is like the most commonly used dump stat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you put, like, numbers that you don't want. So, in the case of universities, people like, I need to
Students.
go to students are like, I need to go to university for something. What do I go to university for? Let's see. I don't know what to do. Let's take a Bachelor of Arts.
Mm. Yes, that.
I
Yes,
think
that makes
maybe the
sense.
thing to do with law in the Bachelor of Arts is because what happens is like, if you take normal school, what subjects are you there to prepare you for law? Like, really?
Well,
I mean, there's drama,
yeah.
but like, is there any actual qualification subjects that you like really have to take?
Well, I have looked into this. Through all of the New Zealand universities, at least. I don't know of any of the universities, full stop, that have required subjects to take a law degree, but they do recommend like English and history.
Yeah, because they like
Because
recommend things, but
because
it's
they recommend
because
things because they have a lot of writing in them, which a law degree
Yeah.
has.
it's more that the fact that the law degree doesn't have anything to prepare. Like, there's nothing to prepare you. Like, you don't necessarily need to take anything. And basically, that's what the Bachelor of Arts is. When people finish school and they're like, "Hey, I don't know what I want to do," and then it's like, "Hey, these things I can take without having to do these subjects." And I think that's the Bachelor of Arts summed up, kind of.
Mm.
For law, I feel like you could just go to like some debate clubs, but that's not really like a subject. It's more just of a club type thing.
Yes, So through everything I've looked at, there are no required subjects to do a law degree, but they recommend like literacy subjects like English and history and like even like geography and stuff, like anything that has any subject that has a lot of writing. So yeah, I think. Are there any final comments, or should we wrap up this topic and move on?
I think you summarized it well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think so too. I
Nice.
think that's just my opinion on people with doctorates forcing you to call themselves doctor. And yeah, good discussion. So who would like to take their next topic?
Sure.
All right.
Mine's quite a bit different. I've actually got a couple, if
Okay.
you don't
Yeah.
mind.
Sub.
The
Yeah.
first
Two sub
one,
questions. Yeah.
which is very easy.
Yeah.
When is What the Fridge going to be on Spotify? Let the
Oh.
people know.
That is a very good question. Now, I'm
Put
not.
on the spot.
Oh, aha! I see what you did there. I have been put on the spot. So if anyone who uses Spotify is listening, which I doubt, well, I mean, I don't doubt, but people who don't like know us
You
personally.
doubt it's never gonna happen. That's your
No. What I don't know what to say. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not entirely sure with the procedure of getting a podcast on Spotify. I think you need to have a few episodes out before you can put it on Spotify. So I'm just we're gonna churn out a few episodes, and then I'll try and upload it to Spotify and see where we go from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
The second one is which can also be Spotify related if we want to. Music taste and the
Ooh.
evolution of music styles.
Oh, yes.
So for me, I
I have
listen to a
opinions
lot
on
of
this. Let's go.
I listen to a lot of hip hop,
Mhm.
and there's quite a large difference between like 70s, 80s, 90s hip hop and
70s hip hop a
today's.
thing?
Yes,
I did not know that.
and then
Neither.
like modern day hip hop, because most I've found I like older kind of style hip hop because it talks about like real problems and
Hmm. Oh, is the Wi-Fi gonna come back
but
up?
then I
Oh.
feel like modern day hip hop is more about like it feels like every song's kind of like, oh, why did she leave me, I want her back, I'm gonna
That's
I
True.
it's
I'm
true.
gonna use drugs and alcohol to, fix myself. Oh wait, that didn't work. I want her back. Kind of
Yeah.
I
stuff.
thought we were on the
Yeah.
topic of music.
Well,
That
we
is
are.
very true.
We're talking about how every like rap and hip hop song today is the same.
And
Which
I
kind
find
of
it
is.
just interesting how like it's kind of changed over the years from these are real problems that I'm actually facing. I'm putting it into music and letting the world know into I've rapped about this thing that happened to me once. I'm gonna rap about it over and over and over.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think, yeah, music in general, but especially like hip hop and rap, has gotten a lot more meaningless
Yeah,
throughout, I would say, the span of 20 years up to now. So, like, in the 80s, when, like, rap was just starting to become, like, a big thing, like, they would actually,
yeah.
like, if you, I don't listen to rap at all, but,
Neither.
like, the big rap groups of, like, the 80s, like, I don't even know. Can you name one?
I
Rick
reckon.
Astley?
No. Ahaha. Oh, man.
Good
well,
one.
I could name a few artists.
The
There's
one,
The Beach Boys.
no, the Beach Boys. No, I'm talking like what's the band that did Straight Outta Compton?
oh
I can't remember the name.
I could search it. Straight out of Compton, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. That might be the name of the group. I can't even remember. And like songs like
NWA.
what is it? MW
NWA.
MWA.
Yeah, straight
Oh,
out of Compton.
okay. Yeah,
Because
groups.
there's also other groups like Compton's Most Wanted
Sugar
and
Hill Gang.
other artists that have come together to make kind of I guess collaborations over the time. And I suppose one of them to mention, which is quite large, is Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, because
Yes.
they've done about 13 or 14 collaborations together over the time,
Yeah,
and
but
that's paved the way for both their careers, basically.
yeah, that's true because like
But also Snoop Dogg sings about drugs.
Yeah, well,
yeah, but it's like more. It's like more meaningful. It's like he's actually talking about like drug problems rather than like
yeah,
just like general like drug problems, like general sort of
Yeah, but
drug
in the
use.
old days, like, they just didn't care about drugs as much.
Yeah, and
But
like
Wasn't
today it's
like-
just yeah, I use drugs. Aren't I cool? It's like
yeah.
I didn't
More
ask.
You know
hippie.
those like songs that are in a different language, but they talk about drugs and suicide, but you still listen to it because it's really catchy.
Yeah,
Mm,
Despacito, am
yeah.
I right?
The biggest
But hey, it's
example I can think
catchy.
of is
It is.
the biggest example I can think of is the Polish cow dancing meme. If you know that.
Yeah,
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 no, I can't. Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
yeah.
What's it actually about?
Beach Boys.
That's suicide, isn't it?
Yeah, it's drugs and suicide,
Yo.
but I don't understand it, so who cares?
But hey, it's the
So
funny
it's
thing.
safe.
Also,
It's
there's like
completely safe.
a lot of 2010 songs are like that. Like swinging, like what's that song, Chandelier by Sia? It's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. isn't that like hanging yourself? Excuse me.
Well, I don't know if it's actually the meaning of the song, but we'll see how it could be.
Could be a
interpreted as that.
metaphor.
I see where you're
It's
getting
actually
it from.
pretty plausible, to be honest.
Yeah, because there's like other songs, like where it's not obvious that they're talking about suicide and things, but if you listen to it, you can most definitely hear the meaning behind it. Like Fireflies by
Sheeran.
Our City. Like that seems like a pretty
Like, I mean,
light
it's
and cheery song, but
I mean, it's
pretty dark.
for most of time, music's been like that, like subtle,
Yeah.
like sort of.
Except
it's like
when it was
deeper
like
meanings.
all love songs.
Like one example I can think of is "I Can't Get No Satisfaction" by the Rolling Stones, which is from the 1960s.
Yeah.
It's like how long ago is that? Like 60 years now. And yet that has like really subtle. I'm not going to talk about it because this is a PG podcast. But yeah, if you listen to that, you might be able to pick up on some like subtle like innuendos and stuff. But like yeah,
Ed Sheeran.
but like Ed Sheeran. Oh man, don't even get me started on Ed Sheeran.
I reckon he's an overrated artist.
Oh man, overrated to say the least. Man, that's definitely.
What number in the world is he currently? Like fifth?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I honestly don't care.
No, neither, but it's interesting.
It's more. It's less ignorance and more apathy for me.
He's sixth in the world currently.
Sixth.
Who's first?
Probably
Justin. Justin.
Seriously?
Really?
Yeah, for Peaches. Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. I would have thought it'd be like Kanye or something.
Isn't Despacito the most popular song on YouTube?
It's the most played song, I think.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah.
I think.
Shape of You is the most streamed.
Is it? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Didn't that song come out like 3 years ago?
4, 5. I think.
4?
It's also kind of a dodgy song.
Yeah, it
if you
is.
listen to
2.8
it closely.
billion streams. 2.8 billion streams.
Why though? Why do people listen to it? It's not even a good song.
It's just yeah.
I
he just
only
talks
listen to the
about-
YTPs.
Yeah, you are in fact a man of culture.
Thank you.
But yeah, so coming back to my original point, was I was talking about the rap groups of like the 80s. They actually talked about real issues that like faced. I'm not trying to be racist, but like particularly the black community by their own admission, not by mine. But today it's just yeah, I've got a fancy car, and I've got the hottest like girlfriend, and I've got like this nice house and stuff, and it's like who cares? Like nobody.
Who
like,
asked?
Yeah, it's like there's this line in this. I think it's a 21 Savage. It's like I'm riding in a new i8, you're riding in a Honda. It's like so it's like you get flexed on, but then you also get like insulted. So like it's like.
But then again, who drives a Honda?
Some Hondas are really good cars, like. But
I don't like Hondas.
they're seen as poor people's cars, like. So then this douchebag 21 Savage is like, okay, screw Hondas. It's like
if we, I think like the perfect comparison is, have you guys heard "Gangsta's Paradise" by Coolio?
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Like it's actually a song
No,
about
I
like
haven't heard
real
it.
issues.
He
Have
talks
you heard
about
of Amish Paradise?
I have heard Amish Paradise.
he talks about his struggles with the gang in the hood.
Yeah,
and how
exactly. It's like
how
actually
it's affecting his
meaningful.
family.
Yeah.
And then we've just got Monday hip hop artists that like 21 Savage, Lil Uzi Vert, Post Malone. I mean, some of Post Malone's music, don't get me wrong, he's got like really meaningful music. Like there's other artists like that, like Juice WRLD and XXX Tentacion, but they talk about things that they're scared about.
Isn't the last guy dead?
Yeah, that 2 of those did, Juice WRLD and XXX Tentacion.
Yeah.
Sad.
Juice WRLD
Sam.
released an album with I think 2 songs on it called Legends. No, he released a song called Legends, where he talks about how all his peers are dying, and how like because it's really weird because all of them die at the age of 21, like all of them.
That's like a thing in like the punk community. Like I think it was like it was like in the 80s it was a big thing. It was like you like life's over at 21, so it's a big thing in I don't know if it's still a big thing in the punk community, but suicide at 21 was a big thing at least. There was a I can't remember which group it was from. It was a British group. I think it was the Clash, maybe not, where one of the members did that. Or yeah, I don't know. I can't remember which group it was. But yeah, it's that. Yeah, I don't know if that's like suicide or just a coincidence.
I think, it's interesting because I can list like 4 artists that have died at the age of 21, which is like super weird. But like, also I feel like there might be a bit of superstitious things involved in it. Because like, a lot of artists talk about like selling their souls and things, which you kind of just you kind of shrug off as like, oh yeah, a lot of like, yeah, cool.
It's just edgy crap,
Yeah, but then like all this bad stuff happens to them, and they get all these face tattoos and like have seriously messed up lives, and you go, well, heck,
yeah, maybe they're not.
they've got so much fame. It's like
this is what too much fame does to a mofo.
This is why you should not be an extrovert.
Yes.
I'll add that one to my list. Although I'm not
we
an
say
extrovert.
as we're hosting a podcast. Well, hey, at least we don't have
anything can happen.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, coming back to that, well, there's a similar thing specifically in like the 70s and 80s. It was called the 27 Club. Have you heard of that? It's similar to what you've been talking about, Toby.
Yeah.
Just to finish this topic off, because we don't have enough time.
Like,
We've got to move on. But yeah, to finish this up, the 27 Club is it's pretty much what it sounds like, considering I referenced your remarks. It's basically heaps of famous musicians who die at 27. People like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain. All these like really big musicians die at 27 for various reasons. Some are suicide, some are like drug overdoses, stuff like that.
There's one who just wanted to join the club.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Kurt Cobain just wanted to join the club. No, oh shoot, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
Any Nirvana fans out there? I don't like Nirvana music. Anyway, we better move on now. Before I get hate mail from Nirvana fans. Anyway, who's gonna go with the next topic?
I think Master Walnut should go because
Yeah.
me and Reuben have gone before.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go. So my topic is like the evolution of memes. So nowadays memes are just this, like, some are good, some are bad, but all it is just a random video. Say, I don't know, someone speedrunning Minecraft with fart sound effects in the background, and like, I don't know, but memes back in the day were I should say much better than today, of course. Because take Vine for example. Vine was the best. It's way better than TikTok. I just made people angry. So like Vines were a huge part of meme culture back then. So yeah, Vines were a big thing. It's kind of sad that they're gone now.
Yeah, like honestly, we kind of talked about it on the last podcast. I don't know if you listened to it. I'd be very surprised if you hadn't. But anyway, we talked about the increasing irony of meme culture, where it's just the more we go, the more levels of irony are just added to memes until it's just almost unrecognizable for someone who's not completely endowed in that culture. Like for me, honestly, I just embrace the stupidity of it. Like honestly, I love modern memes. Like they're great. But for people who are not like into that, into this like modern meme culture, it's quite hard for them to understand because of all this irony, all these in jokes that you have to understand.
Like from my perspective, like older memes did seem better. Like, you could say they were a lot funnier, and I think like all of that good stuff has kind of been used. Now they have to put the irony in, whereas like before it would just be like a clip out of a movie, like the one where it's like "I am you" clip from, I think it's Rush Hour, and it's
Yeah,
like
Rush
"I
Hour.
am you, he is me," and it's like that was just really funny. But now like all of those type of things have been kind of used up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now we've got dumb things like Among Us memes and the baby memes and like all these dumb things like
Yeah. Honestly,
baby convertible. Oh, hello.
oh Lachlan,
Lachlan.
Hello.
how's life?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let us continue.
Yes.
Continue, Toby.
Like we've got like the baby convertible, which came from the song "Shug," where he's like, "I'm turning everybody to a convertible,"
I'm a
and
turn
then
to a convertible. Yes.
yeah, that one. And then people is just like made for whatever
Just
reason
taking over.
they just the meme was there for about 2 weeks and then it just died. And it feels like that's what happening with a lot of memes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
a
I feel
lot of
like
the older memes
yeah.
are coming back, like
It was
troll
also
space.
yes.
it was also kind of dumb. You have to admit.
There are like
Yeah, they
full
were dumb.
hour-long videos on like YouTube just about the resurrection of the troll face. It's like no, I'm not joking. I've seen them in my recommended. I've watched some of them. Like
I watched an hour and a half video on how the McDonald's ice cream machines are always broken.
yeah, I've seen that in my
Because they don't
recommended.
clean them.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yes. Well, yeah. What I want to say is the
Watched
reason.
a 4.5 hour video about how bad Doctor Who is in its current state.
Huh.
Why would you watch that?
It's 4 hours.
Because I had the time, and so I
Same-
just
Oh man. Why is my Wi-Fi so cruel to me?
Just saying.
We
Not
could
to change
okay,
the
like,
subject.
Let's go back to memes.
Yeah. So
To me.
what I want to say is I think the reason like modern memes die out so much faster than like memes even like a few years ago
Because they're not
is
funny.
because they're just so no well some are but I
They're
think the main
overused.
reason is they're just like especially on like Reddit,
Oversaturated.
which I get most of my memes from. Like someone gets like a meme, like comes up with this like new sort of meme, and then it just becomes so oversaturated that people
Yeah.
just get
It's
bored
like
of it.
when someone tells the same joke over and over again, Sam.
Say it gets
Yes.
it gets overused, and then everyone just say doesn't want to hear it. Say like with the Among Us memes,
Mm-hmm.
like everyone got so tired of the Among Us memes, they just didn't want to see it anymore.
Yeah. And then there
Really
was
bad.
for example, something that I found happened recently. This isn't necessarily memes, but how fast internet culture moves. Is when the Mitchells versus the Machines movie came out on Netflix. For about 2-3 weeks, it was the like best movie of 2021. Everyone loved it. It had all this praise, and then everyone forgot about it,
Mm.
and nobody's really brought it up since. It's quite interesting.
except for you.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously I just
Made
brought it
full
up now,
circle.
but yeah, it was. But I always found that quite interesting. How just fast it's like, oh yeah, this is a cool movie. Never mention it again.
Yes. Well, yeah. What I want to say is, just about like how, like this the stupidity of meme culture now, like just the pure like sort of the humor of it. It's just gotten so like so stupid that like I watched a clip yesterday where I kid you not, they satirized a Beavis and Butthead clip. Like they took this clip from Beavis and Butthead and they just put stupid sound effects over it.
Why?
It's like
Like the fart
it
sound
shows
effect.
like how well yes. Well, it's like so how bad does our humor have to be in order
the point
for
where
us to
you laugh at
satirize
that.
Beavis and Butthead?
yeah.
Like man,
It's just going downhill from now.
It's like,
Like,
Yeah,
One of the biggest what's it, YouTube, like modern day, should I say modern day meme creators is Crackback. If you know
yeah.
him.
I love Crackback personally.
Like it's some videos are good and some aren't, because some
Yeah.
videos are just like spam of the fart sound effect and like Among Us and what the dog doing, and other ones are like actual things like the teacher always does this, and then they somehow incorporated like memes into that, you know?
Yes. Teachers can't stop autoplay, am I right?
Precisely.
Okay. So I think that's topic wrapped
Yeah,
up a bit.
let's see. Yeah, we're
Next
running a
topic.
wee bit over time. Alright, we'll move on.
Over
Unless
time?
anyone...
Go 35 minutes, bro.
Yeah, we
Got
have 3
20.
more. We have 3 more subjects to get through.
Oh, I thought it was 2. Okay.
No, Lachlan's joined. Alright,
Okay.
so
You
who's
want
gonna...
to go, Reuben?
Oh,
No, not yet.
before we continue, does anyone else have any closing remarks on meme culture?
Meme culture currently sucks.
Some
That
are
is
good.
your
like
opinion. I'm
Well,
gonna...
you did ask
Immaturity
for
has
opinions.
become much more funny over the last few years, and it just it's immature, and so
think,
it's just
yeah.
kind of
It's
not
like
not
those-
Well, there's a difference between immaturity and just pure stupidity. I think.
Yeah.
It's like
Precisely.
it's like those memes which aren't like made to be funny, but it's like a 3-year-old kid. It's like saying pee pee poo poo, and then it's like 7-year-old kid. It's like got maturity or something, and then it's like 14, 15-year-old kids pee pee poo poo, haha, and stuff. It's like it's just going back to like that when you were a little kid and stuff.
We're returning to
Yeah.
monkey.
Precisely. I can agree with that.
Return to monkey.
Yes.
That's
I
the
think
only
we're returning to
meme
monkey a
I
little
like.
too hard right now.
Definitely.
Right. So next topic. Who's gonna take it?
Reuben.
No.
Lachlan.
Reuben.
I
Just
can take
no.
the next.
Yes, you have to
Okay.
since you
Take the
joined in the
next
middle of the
subject.
podcast for a second time. Continue.
So my topic was, why do you think that in media specifically, it kind of is not quite the same thing, but it's why do you think that the 80s has made such a big resurgence in the last couple of years? Like, for example, you have stuff like Stranger Things and it's like the horror stuff was set in the 80s, and that's been very successful. Blinding Lights was a very recent song that had that very 80s nostalgic feel. There was literally a show like called Living in the 80s from TVNZ, which happened last year. So it's like, I don't know exactly what's the reasoning behind it.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can't
like,
forget,
80s music
Rick
is
Ashley.
fire, but
Yes.
yeah.
Well, personally, I think the reason it's come back is because it's just really cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, like the 80s is just a great decade when you look back at it, even though we weren't alive when it was around. But like, you look at some of the things, it's actually
I think it's funny
actually
that our
really
parents.
good.
I think it's funny that our parents find it cringy and we find it really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like
especially
you
80s
wouldn't
songs.
expect that, would you?
No,
I think
No,
it
you
will
wouldn't.
end up when like we're older and we'll end up like hating our generation, like our stuff. Like, I mean, we already like being into all the memes and stuff, but yeah, like we'll end up looking back at that and being like, it's cringy, but then it's like our
Why did we
kids will
laugh
be
at
like,
this meme?
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's mainly a generational thing. Like, I feel like a lot of people who grew up in the 80s, so kind of like people 30, 40-year-olds, they kind of are like, this is super cool. I remember growing up on some of the stuff that was like left over from the back end of the 80s or during the 80s and how cool it was. And so and it's very much nostalgia baiting. They're
Yes.
really
Yes,
like
that's the
bringing
thing.
it in.
Yeah. We talked about this on Friday with the death
Yes.
of movie theaters. Like, we like them because it's a part of our childhood. Likewise, we like the VHS effect, like as like a sort of thing
The grey
on like
lines.
video, because it reminds us of our childhood. At least for me, it does.
I
Would you
grew up with
agree?
Yeah, but
VHS.
also like thinking about the thing with our parents, not like in the 80s, like with us, I think that if you think about, because my parents were like, they were aged like 1 to 10, kind of around that time. So like if you think between the time you were born and the time you were 10, if you think about that time and all the things you laughed at and thought was funny and thought was cool then, it kind of seems cringy. like all of that stuff. Like you think
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah, it's-
cartoons and stuff,
Yeah, as you
and
grow up, that's yeah.
like the
Yeah.
stuff you
Mm.
watched. Like if you watch like a Nickelodeon show, and then you're like older, and you're like, that's horrible. But then our kids will be like, it's a really old historical show, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's true. That is
Yeah.
very true. And okay, well, quickly, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna correct a technicality error that I saw or heard rather, by you, Lachlan. So,
Yep.
you said Stranger Things and It were like the same. It's like they're both set in the 80s for nostalgia. Well, I think
They
the
are.
difference is the Stranger Things is in fact like was written like I don't know when did it come out, like 5 years ago? Or is it
Yeah,
more?
it was about the mid 2000s. Like, I think that and it did kind of really start off that whole 80s thing.
Yes, but
In terms of the
honestly-
media.
But what I want to say is the
It's
difference
honestly
between
so
Stranger
amazing.
Things and It is Stranger Things, as far as I know, is an originally written, like in the
Yeah.
modern era, whereas It was actually
Yeah.
written in the 80s and contains multiple references to the 80s in the original book, which is why it had to be
Yeah,
set in the
I guess
80s.
that's
the
true, yeah.
difference. But yes, the Stranger Things, I agree with you. It's nostalgia bait. But
Well,
for
it's
It,
funny because I didn't grow up in the 80s, but yes, I'm literally staring at the flux capacitor that's built into my wall from Back to the Future.
look at your profile picture.
Which-
It's literally a picture of David Bowie.
I was about to
Yeah,
say that.
exactly.
He's dead.
It's
Yes, he
very
is.
much. I'm a big fan of 80s personally because I've got like a vinyl collection and with a lot of those sorts of songs, like a bunch of Pink Floyd and
Pink
all those
Floyd's not
sorts
80s,
of
mate.
artists.
Rick Astley.
Yes, he is.
Pink Floyd's
Technically,
70s.
they are.
70s and 60s.
It depends on when you look at it, but yeah, it's very
But yeah,
much a.
vinyl is
Well,
an
even look
80s
at Back
thing.
to the Future, like in a lot of stuff from the 90s, we'd be kind of a little bit more reluctant and think it's just like the white tipped hair, the Backstreet Boys, that kind of boy band stuff is really quite.
Backstreet Boys was
Nobody
90s,
really
I
liked
think.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm talking about. This
Yeah.
era is the 90s, so that was 30 years ago.
Yes, I really don't
If you
like
look at the movie
90s.
Back to the Future, and when they go to the future, it's like you have to use your hands, and like they don't like the 80s as much. Like they still have a few things referencing it, but not everyone likes it.
Mm. Yes, well, yeah, well, I'm gonna take this opportunity to rip on the 90s. I really don't like the 90s. I don't like the music. I think the music.
80s wouldn't have necessarily liked music from the 50s
Yeah, true.
because it was all that had evolved. So it's like a certain generational thing.
Mm. But yes, I'm gonna take this opportunity. I don't like the 90s. I don't like 90s music. I don't like. I mean, I don't like 90s like clothing, fashion. The only thing I do like from the 90s is CDs. That's the only thing.
I agree.
All right, lads. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you.
Oh, really?
Family is cooked dinner,
Oh,
so
Okay.
okay.
I love you guys.
Yeah, love you too.
I'll see you next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, he's gone.
The only thing I like from the 90s is the Soviet Union, but then again, that died in the 90s.
Like 1991.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, what's our time?
Yeah, but it's
Basically,
kind
the
of funny.
90s killed all the good things.
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right. I think.
Okay.
Should we move
We
on?
could probably move on to the
Yeah,
next subject. Yeah.
let's move on.
Yep. All right, Caleb or
Okay.
Reuben?
Okay. Let's go.
Let's
I am
go.
going to talk about
What are you going to talk about?
Ghost House in Pukekohe.
In Pukekohe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of all
Um,
places.
Ghostbusters are being brought in to rid a Pukekohe home of evil spirits after terrified Filipino workers complained it is haunted by ghouls. Scared men report the troubling presence of 3 female spirits at the old Pukekohe villa and have engaged the services for something to cast them out. Yeah. An exorcist. Just skip ahead a bit. First few days they were there. They came back to us and said, "Boss, place is haunted. There's ladies in there, 3 ladies, lady ghosts. And we were like, yeah, okay. But after that, things that have been happening have been non-stop. One man reported feeling a slap to the face in the middle of the night. I mean, like, that could just be the thing where you wake up and you're like, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
The thing about ghosts, I personally believe, is I don't think it's necessarily like ghosts per se. I would probably say if there are people that believe in kind of a spiritual realm, it's probably something more along the lines of demons, because that has kind of been proven, I guess, that demons do exist. Like, it's in the Bible. It still happens today. You see people that are demon possessed and such.
There's plenty of
And
anecdotal evidence. Yeah.
this man,
and
he
Satanists
couldn't. There was a time when he couldn't move. It was like something had hold of his legs, pinning his legs down. It's like the story in the Bible when the kid rolls on the floor, thrashing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, like, it's not necessarily dead people coming back to enact their vengeance on the mortal realm. It's more just basically Satan, the devil, just kind of like going and messing with people, if I'm honest. That's my personal opinion, but yeah.
I feel like ghosts do exist to some extent, but then again, there's some things where it's like, was that really a ghost?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
you
a
know-
lot of people who like tell like ghost stories, like,
All of the thing,
my house is haunted
all
or
of the
whatever.
thing,
Most of the time, it's a meth house, so you can kind of tell where that's coming from.
and
Well, you
also
know,
like it is in Pukekohe, but like, yeah.
It's never like a no, I'm probably not. No, you know what, I'm gonna say this. It's never like a nice house in like a nice suburb. It's always like this house in like, you know, like Pukekohe, or like in like flippin',
You know,
I don't know, like Takanini
you know
or somewhere.
what? In the something interesting was, so do you guys know about the movie Poltergeist?
I haven't seen it, but I
Basically,
do know about it. Didn't
I've
they?
heard of it.
basically what it was is a guy wrote a book about his personal experiences in this house that was supposedly haunted, and it had like stories of objects levitating off the ground, a little girl going up to the TV and saying they're here, and like all of these, them writing messages on the wall and claiming it wasn't them, and all of these supernatural things that were happening. And so they decided to make a movie based on the book, and there was a whole bunch of different things that went wrong with it. Like, there was about 3 people on production that died during the filming. They used real skeletons in the they used real skeletons in like the scene where she's in the water and there's these dead bodies floating up. It's actual dead bodies, and she had no idea. They actually had, during the screening of the films, they had the people that were in there going. The people who had originally written the book went to go see the film, and they said that they could feel that same sort of supernatural presence. And like in certain countries, they'd actually hire exorcists to bless the whole commission before watching the film, and then they'd watch it. And it's just, I don't think that's necessarily ghosts. I think that is more demons and such. So yeah, this is quite interesting.
It's
Like,
I tend to
if
stay
you
away
think
from
about
like
some of the
ghost stuff.
things, it's like it could all be coincidences, like feeling like you've been slapped in the face in the middle of the night. It could just be you doing the thing where, like, in the middle of the night, you're just sleeping and you wake up and you're like, in a dream, you can have someone slap you and then that will happen. It's like,
speaking on the topic of dreams or sleeping, like, you know, when you just wake up in the middle of the night, you just have like this presence in your room. Like, it's completely dark. You don't see anything, but you feel that there's something there. It doesn't always happen, but it's happened before.
Everyone
or
does
even
that. I don't think that's like actually like.
Or
like
like
something
sleep paralysis. Sleep
Yeah,
paralysis.
Yes,
makes
like
sleep
that-
paralysis is a thing.
things.
it also can explain the guy's not being able to move his legs, like he's pinned down. Literally, you can, in the
That's
middle
just-
of the night,
Yeah, that's just sleep
you're like
paralysis.
operating at like half strength. Like, if you wake up in the middle of the night, like before getting out of your bed, if you have a weight there and try and lift like a 2 kg weight, it's not going to be easy at all.
Yeah, I think
Your
that's literally
muscles
what
are
sleep
all
paralysis is.
rested.
Sleep paralysis, like,
Yeah.
you wake. I'm pretty sure it is. It's like when you wake up and you can't move.
Yeah, and then like you sometimes, not always, most
Alright,
of the time actually.
boyos, I've got to head off for dinner.
Oh, okay. Bye bye.
Be nice
We'll be
popping.
finishing up
Goodbye.
soon.
Yes.
So like you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't move, but then you like see maybe a figure or sometimes even like a family member, but their like face is like twisted or something. It's something that your brain makes up, and people who have had sleep paralysis, they say it's like an overwhelming sense of fear on them, even though there's no need to be scared.
Do you want to know
it's just what they
something
say.
else? Like it
What?
says here that the previous family who lived there, they're like, oh, we just learned to live with the specters. We just kept the wardrobe closed. There's a wardrobe that we just never opened. It's like, so I'd say they opened the wardrobe door. Silly as that, if you just think about it logically, like it's like opening wardrobe door.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Death house.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crackheads.
Yeah, it was
But who
probably
knows?
those last people.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Sounds of it.
it's a bit more plausible when you have two separate parties, which are like the two different owners of the households. The household, like, having the same sort of story.
But they said they just kept the wardrobe door closed and never opened the wardrobe, and it fixed it. It's like,
It's a little bit sus.
is that just something you believe? Like, there's things that you can just believe.
But yeah, I think. Oh, Reuben's gone. It's a bit wacky.
Belief is a
Belief.
big thing. Yeah, I think we'll finish up just after this. But like, belief is a big thing. Like, I've heard of stories of like tribes. Like, what they'll do is whenever someone commits a crime, they'll just pretend they don't exist, and eventually, like, the belief just gets so strong that you just eventually die because you just believe you don't exist. You either like kill yourself or die.
But to kill yourself, you have to exist. So like, that's
Good
I don't
point.
know.
like
I
it's like,
don't know.
oh,
But like, belief is a big thing, and I think that's just it.
yeah,
Like, people can get insane. Insanity is a thing that we all have to deal with. Like, all of us, insane people have to deal with it. Insanity is a real thing.
yeah,
And mental health and stuff, and you can believe things, and they seem real, but really, you look at it from another perspective, they can just be like, yeah, it can just be not really a big deal.
yeah.
It depends on where you are at in life. Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
All right, I guess that'll wrap us off. Wrap us up, rather.
Off.
Wrap us off. Yep. Right, we're gonna wrap us off
Wrap
that
that
one.
up.
And go
okay.
on with our lives. So, thank you for listening. If you are, thank you for watching on YouTube. I will attempt to get this on Spotify, as aforementioned, as soon as possible. We'll probably churn out a few more episodes before we do that, though. So, we'll keep you posted. For now, though, that is the end of What the Fridge episode 2. So, alright, bye bye.